the who, what, and why of advance directives. So I'd like you to imagine that your loved one has just had a stroke. They are unable to speak, swallow, or move the entire left side of their body. The surgeon is asking you if you'd like to proceed with a procedure that inserts a feeding tube into their stomach in order for them to get artificial nutrition. You stop and think to yourself, is this what my loved one would have wanted? My name is Nikki Benshoff, and I'm an RN with Tidewell Hospice, and I've seen firsthand the predicament that caregivers are placed in when their loved one's wishes are unknown. Furthermore, there have been many public cases of patients that are kept alive, possibly against their wishes, due to the lack of advance directives. So advance directives are important because they make your wishes known to healthcare personnel in your family when you are unable to do so yourself. First, I'll talk about what advance directives are. Second, I'll talk about who needs advance directives. And third, why they are so important. So to begin with, advance directives are important, again, because they make your wishes known to healthcare personnel and your family when you're unable to make decisions for yourself. According to the National Cancer Institute's website, there are two forms of advance directives. The first form is the living will, and it tells both healthcare personnel and your family whether you want to be on any type of machine, like a dialysis machine when you have kidney disease, or a ventilator that breathes for you. Also, if you'd like a feeding tube placed, that gives you artificial nutrition, and if you want to become an organ or tissue donor. So the DNR, the National Cancer Institute's website lists the DNR under the living will, but you can have a living will without a DNR and a DNR without a living will. But DNR stands for Do Not Resuscitate, and what this does is it tells emergency personnel that you do not want cardiopulmonary resuscitation or CPR. It must be printed on a yellow piece of paper, and it must be placed on your refrigerator so when EML personnel come in, they know what and where to look for your document. The second type of advance directive is the healthcare surrogate form. It's also known as the medical power of attorney, durable power of attorney, and healthcare proxy form. The 2016 peer-reviewed journal article, Intricate Decision-Making, Ambivalences and Barriers When Fulfilling an Advance Directive, in the journal Patient Preference and Adherence, states the importance of the living will, but also the nomination of a person with power of attorney over health issues as alternative ways to ensure self-determination at the end of a person's life. So in other words, what this means is that designating someone, especially someone you trust, is just as important as writing your wishes down, because this person is going to be making your decisions for you. This person is known also as the proxy, the surrogate, or the healthcare agent. So next, I would like to discuss who needs advance directives. The Institute for Healthcare Improvement, which is a nonprofit organization that improves healthcare worldwide through educational tools, and the Conversation Project, a nonprofit organization devoted to helping people talk about their wishes at the end of life, on the website theconservationproject.org, states the appropriate age to have advance directives, including a healthcare proxy, is 18. And so it's 18 because prior to the age of 18, your parents are your healthcare proxy. So when you turn 18 years of age, your parents stop becoming your healthcare proxy, and you need to designate one just in case of an unforeseen circumstance. So 18 does sound very young, and thoughts and feelings change, especially from the age of 18 to the age of 50. So it is recommended that you update your advance directives. Aidan Kestigan, PhD student at Carnegie Mellon University, whose research interests are in medical and research ethics, and Alex John London, PhD, Director of Center for Ethics and Policy at Carnegie Mellon University, in their 2016 article, Adversaries at the Bedside, Advanced Care Plans and Future Welfare, in the journal Bioethics, states patients should be aware that their interests may change over time, and their evaluation of future health states may also be colored by present values they may not retain. Additionally, the Institute for Healthcare Improvement and the Conversation Project on our website, theconversationproject.org, recommends you review, change if needed. You review and change if needed your advanced directives every 10 years, such as when you're 30, 40, 50, etc. So finally, I would like to talk to you about why advanced directives are so important. I'd like to start with the very famous case of Terri Schiavo. Robert Fine, MD and medical ethicist, describes the case well in his 2005 article, From Quinlan to Schiavo, Medical, Ethical, and Legal Issues in Severe Brain Injury. So Terri Schiavo, in February of 1990, at the age of only 26, went into cardiac arrest, and that's a medical term for her heart stopped. EMS personnel were called. They came and were able to restart her heart, but she was in a vegetative state. So in June of 1990, she remained in the vegetative state, and her husband was appointed her guardian. So he tried everything in his power to try to get her to come out of this vegetative state. He even took her to occupational therapists, physical therapists, and speech therapists, and they were unable to help. So after 4 years of trying every intervention, she was placed in a nursing home. So that was 8 years now that she's gone in this vegetative state. So in 1998, he finally petitioned to have the feeding tube removed. The court ruled in his favor, but her parents were upset and didn't want their daughter to die. So they did appeal for 7 years. During the 7 years, her tube was removed and inserted on 2 different occasions. So finally, in March 21st, 2005, the U.S. Supreme Court finally ruled in favor of the husband, and her feeding tube was removed. 10 days later, on March 31st, Terri Schiavo finally passed away peacefully. So without advanced directives, you leave the burden of choice to your loved ones. And in many cases, your loved ones may not agree on what is in your best interest. So it is very important that you write down what your wishes are. Also, advanced directives give your loved ones just the peace of mind to know that they've done what you've wanted. Additionally, without advanced directives, you may find yourself living a life that you never wanted to live, just like the person at the very beginning of my speech who was stuck in a stroke. You may wake up to find yourself bedbound, fighting bed sores, unable to make your needs known, and unable to swallow or take food through your mouth. So in conclusion, I've discussed advanced directives. First, by informing you what advanced directives are. Second, who needs advanced directives. And finally, why advanced directives are so important. Advanced directives are so important because they give your loved ones the lack of, or not having the burden of having to make those really important decisions on how you may or may not want to live your life. Opening up this dialogue with your loved ones helps decrease their stress in this highly stressful event. The greatest gift you could give your loved ones is the peace of mind to know that they've done precisely what you've wanted. Thank you.